Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of stuff you own? In our world of consumer culture, it's easy to be buried under mountains of material possessions, leaving us feeling trapped and cluttered. Maybe it's time to consider an alternative way of living. Imagine you're a millionaire living in a mansion filled with luxurious items. You own a fleet of high-end cars, designer clothes that could fill a boutique, and more gadgets than you can count. You dine at the finest restaurants, travel to exotic locations, and attend star-studded events. You're living the dream, right? Well, meet our friend. Let's call him Jack. Jack is a self-made millionaire, a successful entrepreneur who built his empire from scratch. Jack's home is a sprawling mansion. His garage houses the latest sports cars, and his wardrobe is filled with the most expensive threads. To the outside world, Jack is living the high life, a life many would kill for. But here's the thing, Jack isn't happy. He's surrounded by all this stuff, all these things, but he feels trapped. He feels overwhelmed by his possessions. Every new item he buys, every new luxury he indulges in, only adds to his stress. He's constantly worried about maintaining his lifestyle, about losing his possessions. He's trapped in a cycle of consumption, always wanting more, never satisfied. Jack starts to feel a disconnection. He begins to question the value of his possessions. He wonders if his possessions, which he once thought were symbols of his success, are actually chains holding him down. He starts to feel that his material wealth is overshadowing his personal growth. He realizes that he's been measuring his worth by how much he owns, not by who he is as a person. He's been chasing after things, not experiences. He's been focusing on acquiring, not living. He's been spending his time maintaining his possessions, not nurturing his relationships. And so, Jack finds himself at a crossroads. He's a millionaire, yes, but he feels poor. He feels empty. He starts to question if there's more to life than accumulating things. He wonders if he's been living his life all wrong. He wonders if there's a different way to live, a way that brings true happiness and satisfaction, a way that values experiences over possessions, relationships over riches. Despite his wealth, our millionaire feels empty. He starts to question if there's more to life than accumulating things. One day, our millionaire stumbles upon a concept called minimalism. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme or a way to multiply his considerable wealth. Rather, it's a philosophy, a way of life that advocates for the opposite. It's about owning fewer possessions, not more. In a world where success is often measured by the size of one's home or the number of cars in the garage, minimalism presents a stark contrast. It doesn't equate material wealth with happiness or fulfillment. Instead, it proposes that less is indeed more. It's about decluttering your life, not just physically but mentally and emotionally as well. The minimalist philosophy suggests that by owning less, we can create room for what truly matters. Possessions can often distract us, keep us busy with maintenance, and lead us to compare ourselves with others. But by reducing these material distractions, we can focus more on experiences. The smell of a new city, the sound of laughter, the feeling of sand beneath your feet. Minimalism also emphasizes the importance of relationships. It's about spending quality time with loved ones, forging deeper connections with the people around us. It's about sharing experiences and creating memories, rather than accumulating stuff. In essence, minimalism isn't about deprivation. Rather, it's about removing unnecessary elements to make room for the essential. It's about finding happiness in simplicity and understanding that the best things in life aren't things. But how does one go about adopting this philosophy? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Minimalism looks different for everyone. For some, it might mean selling their possessions and living out of a backpack. For others, it might mean decluttering their home and focusing on experiences rather than things. It's a personal journey, one that requires introspection and a willingness to change. Intrigued, our millionaire decides to give minimalism a try. He's ready to step out of his comfort zone, to challenge his views about success and happiness. He's about to discover that the cheaper your pleasures, the richer you'll be. Starting small, our millionaire begins to declutter his mansion. He embarks on an expedition that's less about the physical and more about the mental. The journey towards minimalism, as he soon discovers, is not a straight road, but a winding path with many detours and roadblocks. His first challenge? Letting go. He spent years accumulating his wealth and with it, possessions. Each item, he believed, was a testament to his success. But as he starts to sift through his belongings, he realizes that many of these items have not been used or even touched in years. They were merely trophies, taking up space and collecting dust. The process of decluttering wasn't easy. With every item he picked up, he faced an internal battle. Questions like, do I need this, or will I miss this, were constant companions. But with each item he discarded, he grew stronger. He learned to distinguish between want and need, between value and price. His second challenge was dealing with the opinions of others. People around him couldn't understand why a man of wealth would want to live with less. They saw his journey towards minimalism as a strange anomaly, an eccentricity of the rich, but he remained unfazed. He understood that his journey was personal, and it was not for others to comprehend or judge. As he continued to declutter, he began to see the mansion in a new light. The once crowded, cluttered spaces were now open and inviting. With fewer distractions, he found himself more focused, more at peace. His home was no longer a showcase of his wealth, but a sanctuary for his mind. His journey towards minimalism taught him more than he ever expected. He learned that richness isn't about how much you own, but how much you value what you own. He discovered that happiness isn't found in possessions, but in experiences and relationships. As he discards more and more items, our millionaire begins to feel a sense of freedom he's never experienced before. He realizes that in letting go of the physical, he has gained so much more. He has gained a life of simplicity, of intention, and of true wealth. Living with less, our millionaire discovers a new kind of richness. The millionaire's journey into minimalism has now begun to bear fruit. He's come to realize that richness is not just about having a massive bank balance or a sprawling mansion filled with priceless artifacts. It's about experiencing the world in all its glory, in its simplest and purest forms. The first thing he notices is the abundance of time he now has. By reducing his possessions and simplifying his life, he has freed up countless hours previously spent managing, maintaining, and worrying about his stuff. Now he has the time to pursue passions, hobbies, and activities that truly bring him joy. He's richer in time, a resource more precious than any material wealth. Then he observes a noticeable improvement in his relationships. The millionaire, once too busy chasing material wealth, now has the time and mental space to invest in the people he cares about. He's able to be present in conversations, to really listen and connect. He's richer in relationships, experiencing deeper and more meaningful connections with his loved ones. Lastly, he experiences a richness in experiences. The millionaire who once sought pleasure in expensive gadgets and extravagant vacations now finds joy in simple experiences. A walk in the park, a home-cooked meal, a good book, a meaningful conversation. These are the new sources of his happiness. He's richer in experiences, cherishing the beauty of ordinary moments. Through this new lifestyle, the millionaire has found a wealth that money can't buy. He's learned that there's a certain kind of richness that comes from simplicity, from living with less. He's discovered that the most rewarding treasures in life aren't things, but time, relationships, and experiences. And so, the millionaire realizes that the cheaper his pleasures, the richer he becomes. He's found a new definition of wealth, one that values simplicity over complexity, experiences over possessions, and relationships over status. He understands now that true richness lies not in having, but in being. The millionaire realizes that the cheaper his pleasures, the richer he becomes. Now, think about your own life. How much of what you own truly adds value to it? This is not about pointing fingers or judging choices. It's an invitation to reflect on the choices we make daily, the items we buy, the services we subscribe to. It's about asking ourselves, do they bring us joy, fulfillment, or are they just filling a void, an emptiness we think we have? Take a moment to consider your consumption habits. We live in a world where consumerism is often celebrated, where the latest gadgets, the trendiest clothes, the flashiest cars are flaunted as symbols of success. But do these things truly make us happy? Or are they just distractions, keeping us from finding real contentment and purpose? Imagine for a moment, a life where you only have what you need, what brings you joy. A life uncluttered by unnecessary possessions, free from the stress of constantly wanting more. This is the essence of minimalism. It's not about denying yourself pleasures or living a life of austerity. It's about finding richness in simplicity, in experiences rather than possessions. So I challenge you today to take a step towards minimalism. Start small, maybe declutter a room, or unsubscribe from a service you no longer use. Notice how it feels to let go, to make space. You might find that it's not about what you lose, but what you gain. Peace, freedom, time, and a sense of control over your life. Remember, the cheaper your pleasures, the richer you'll be. It's not about having less, it's about making room for more of what matters.